How is it going, everyone? The information just went out as I am recording this video 2 minutes ago. Marvel's Wolverine is not getting delayed to 2027. We are not battening down the hatches for GTA 6. We are not delaying this game. Marvel's Wolverine is out on September the 15th. I think this was long expected, and the speculated release timing of the game, a lot of us had said sometime in September. That'll give it a little bit of a lead time ahead of the release of GTA 6 if we are so concerned about that, which I just think everybody bugging out about GTA 6. And yes, maybe don't drop a game on the same day as GTA 6, I get that, but Marvel's Wolverine is a big enough game where I think there's enough money to go around and people are gonna check it out as well. Especially, I was always saying if it comes out 4 to 6 weeks prior than GTA, you're good. Now it's probably coming out like 2 months prior to GTA, you're gonna be fine. And even with all that being said, Wolverine is gonna be such a big game that I never thought it was gonna be that big of an issue. I just think some of the GTA 6 takes about everything moving to 2027 a little bit hyperbolic. GTA 6 is gonna come out, it's gonna end up being a video game just like any other video game, and then people will play it, probably enjoy it, and then move on with their lives and play other games as well. Wolverine will be out September the 15th, and the PlayStation Store page has been updated a little bit. As he searches for answers about his past, Wolverine will do whatever it takes, unleashing brutal claw combat, violent rage, and relentless determination to cut through the mystery of the man he used to be. From Insomniac Games, the developers of the critically acclaimed Marvel Spider-Man franchise, comes Marvel's Wolverine, an all-new take on an iconic character based on Marvel Comics. And so excited to see where Insomniac is going to take this, given all of their success with Spider-Man. And I just think the ceiling is incredibly high, and shout out to Insomniac for damn near carrying the entire PlayStation 5 generation on their back, because guess what? They dropped a major PlayStation 5 launch title in Spider-Man Miles Morales. Yes, it was a cross-gen game, but that was a huge title to have on the PS5 launch. Then 8 months later, they dropped what was the biggest showcase for the PlayStation 5 early on in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Oh, and by the way, in 2023, when no other first party was putting out games and we were moving so much into the live service push, shout out to Insomniac for actually getting Spider-Man 2 out. I have my opinions on Spider-Man 2, but still, they got a major title out. It was fairly good. It sold incredibly well. And then 3 years later, in an era where you've got Naughty Dog on the bench for 7 years, when you've got Bend Studio canceling their live service game and not putting out a game, Bluepoint being shut down, although Bluepoint did put out the Demon's Souls remake, Insomniac has been incredibly consistent and dropping the biggest titles that act as true movers for the PlayStation 5. Look, I'm incredibly excited about Soros. Will Soros be a mover for the PlayStation 5? Probably not. I hope it elevates Housemarque as a studio, but Insomniac are the ones that are dropping real moving titles for the PS5. Especially now with their their third true next-gen exclusive. Guerrilla hasn't put out a next-gen only title at this point, unless you want to count Call of the Wilds. They had it Forbidden West, which was PS4, PS5. Santa Monica hasn't. That was a PS4, PS5 title. This will be Insomniac's third title that will be a true PS5 only title and being a real showcase for the PS5. And I will say this, all I've ever wanted from PlayStation really was 2 big first-party titles a year, because, you know, my expectations these days are so low. At the very least, we're getting Wolverine this year, and we're getting Soros. That's a pretty solid 1-2 punch, all things considered. However, I will say, you know, it is unfortunate what's going on with every other studio, and I just think it could have been such a better generation. But Wolverine is a game that was also revealed back in 2021. All of these years we had to wait, and I remember back in 2021 getting text messages from people being like, oh my god, Spider-Man and Wolverine, and I had to immediately tell people, well, pump the brakes a little bit on Wolverine, because we're not going to get that for years and years. And I think at a certain point, some people were thinking, oh, is this game ever going to come out? Was it revealed too early? It was always going to be a case of when that game was revealed, you were going to have to wait a while. Ratchet had just come out. Spider-Man 2 was going to be their next huge title. Wolverine was always going to be a 2025 or 2026 game. That was always going to be the earliest you were going to get this game. And the idea of it getting pushed to 2027, would have been a bummer, but now that we know it's September 15th, which, by the way, Spider-Man 2018 also came out in that September window. That September window has worked out pretty darn well for PlayStation when it comes to these Marvel titles. Spider-Man 2 came out at the end of October, but we'll see how everything turns out. And for those of you guys that were upset about Wolverine not being at the State of Play, it shouldn't have been at the State of Play. They should be saving it. I'm kind of surprised that they're rolling out this information just on a random tweet, and that's how they decided to announce it. But you know what? Kudos to you, and we'll get the big info rollout about the game in the very near future. I would imagine April, May. They said that they're gonna give us the big information blowout in the spring, and April, May, June, that makes a lot of sense. Sony has historically had big events, and if you're talking about a late spring, early summer event to set up a release of a game in September, that's what makes sense. Why are you gonna go heavy promotion on a game in February? Like, that's not the time to do the heavy promotion on the game. The heavy promotion should be coming May or June to set up that release just a couple months after, and I think Sony has figured that out, especially with how they handled Ghost of Yotei. It was the same thing. They revealed that game, but that big promotional push where they really went in-depth on the gameplay, they're announcing what the Digital Deluxe Edition is, everything like that, that comes later on. What will be an interesting caveat, that September 15th release date might not actually be the release date. Why do I say that? Well, it's because Saros is the first-party PlayStation title that is doing the early access gimmick. If you buy the Digital Deluxe Edition of Saros, you get to play that game 48 hours early. They did that with Death Stranding 2 as well, but Kojima Productions isn't a Sony-owned studio, and Ghost of Yotei didn't end up implementing the early access gimmick. It will be very interesting to see if Wolverine goes the route of the fake early access gimmick, because you want to talk about a game that people will pay the extra $10, $20 on for the Digital Deluxe Edition to play it 48 hours early, to play it 72 hours early. Marvel's Wolverine is exactly that. You guys know how I feel about that gimmick. I absolutely detest that gimmick, but I think Saros is going to be a really interesting case study for Sony, and I would imagine they're going to look at how that game's received, but I think Saros is a game that people would be willing to wait 48 to 72 hours to play. Wolverine, on the other hand, I don't know if people are going to be willing to wait 48 to 72 hours if they did do that Digital Deluxe gimmick, because they do the Deluxe gimmick on the Spider-Man games, but it's always like costumes and things that people really don't care about. Look, you could charge $90 for Wolverine's Deluxe Edition, have all the costumes and all that nonsense, and be all like, oh, by the way, you get to play it 48 to 72 hours early. And then all of a sudden, that's something I think a lot of people are buying. Like, millions of people are literally buying Wolverine for that 72 hours early for the Deluxe Edition. And if you're talking about a million extra people buying the game at $90 versus $70, multiply that by $20, that's a lot of money, you guys. That's a lot of money. So we'll see how everything shakes out, and I'm sure we'll get more clarity on a lot of the aspects of the game. Gameplay, the release editions, and the content, everything. I'm sure will be coming out in due time. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.